What is up, Dodgers Nation? Welcome to the Dodgers Nation post-game show. My name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. Thanks for joining us after the Dodgers lose to the Pirates. They get shut out by the Buccos by a final score of 1-0. The Dodgers get shut out. They wasted a gem of a performance by Tyler Glass. Now he went 6 innings, gave up 1 run on 3 hits, had 9 punch-outs to 2 walks. We're going to talk about his start. We're going to talk about this Dodgers offense that has looked too inept, too anemic, too many games this season. And it's beyond a concern at this point. It's beyond a concern. I think they've had enough time to assess their current roster, their internal options, and I have seen enough. The Dodgers need to go out there externally and find someone, the bottom of that lineup, that can make things happen, that can put the ball in play on a more consistent basis, because this is ridiculous at this point if you're Tyler Glass now. Tyler Glass now has not gotten 1 run of run support in his last 5 starts. It's absolutely insane. They got to go get Tyler. If I'm his teammate, I'm going up there, I'm giving him something, or I'm giving him a gift card or a steak dinner, whatever it is. How about you just give him a good at bat and some runs? That would really help. But Tyler Glass now, I mean, he gave this team more than a chance to win. The Dodgers had so many opportunities in this one. They go 0 for 12 with runners in scoring position. They left 9 men on base, and they could not capitalize. You had runners on base in each of the first 4 innings. You had Jared Jones on the ropes, and you could not capitalize. We're going to break down this game. And how about Jack Suwinski? This guy looks like he's a fringe big leaguer against most teams. Looks like a first ballot Hall of Famer against the Dodgers. He gave the Pirates their only run of the night there in a solo shot in the 3rd inning. Wasn't even a bad pitch. A 4-seam fastball up and in, got his hands in, got his barrel on the ball, and hit one out. So credit to Jack Suwinski. And Suwinski's his 5th home run in 13 games against the Dodgers. Jack Suwinski, Captain Jack Spare Me against the Pirates. Here we go, DFA CT3. Welcome to the show, by the way, Rosemary Rodriguez. How the F are we going to beat the Yankees this weekend? Yeah, I don't really want to think about that right now, but that's a truth bomb right there. It's a fire take. By the way, give me all your takeaways on a scale of 1 to 10. How concerned are you about this Dodgers offense that they've struggled? We're going to get into it because I got some numbers going to throw your way, and it's not pretty. Jerry Hunter, Dodgers won't win in the playoffs. They are losing to bad pitchers with respect to Gallen and Webb. Not just good pitchers, not just bad pitchers. They're losing to pitchers that throw high velocity. This is from Rowan Kavner, great reporter for MLB on Fox. He tweeted out, the Dodgers entered today in the bottom 5 in average, slug, and WOBA, which is weight on base average, against pitchers 97 miles per hour plus. So any pitches that are 97 plus, the Dodgers are towards the bottom in essentially every offensive category that matters. So you saw that on display tonight because Jared Jones was outstanding, and his velocity had an uptick tonight. And we know that the Dodgers, like Mookie Betts said, they are going to be every team's World Series. We understand that. That's a reality. And, okay, is there really a World Series? That's a stretch. But you're going to get the other team's A game because just from the fact that there's going to be more fans in the stands when it's the Dodgers and Shohei Ohtani, when the boys in blue come to town, versus when it's the Detroit Tigers or it's the Tampa Bay Rays or a team like that. And Jared Jones, he averages 97.2 miles per hour on his fastball on the season. Tonight, he averaged 98.4 miles per hour. He had a 1.2 velocity uptick. He topped out at 101.4 miles per hour. The slider, the velocity was up. The changeup, the curveball, the velo across the board was up. So you're going to get the best performance from a lot of pitchers. And the Dodgers, they're not reaching that level of intensity. They're not answering it. They're not finding a way to generate offense against pitchers of that magnitude with enough regularity. But we got Eddie Buzz. I can't wait for Scherzer's return, save for Bobby Miller. Nando, what up, Nando? Steven Nelson thinks every fly ball is a home run. He said, Steven Nelson, give him a little credit because he absolutely said that he got on that Teoscar Hernandez fly out late in the game. And if you look at that play right there, I mean, they had opportunities. And you look at, like I said, tonight, you're over 12 runners in scoring position. And Teoscar Hernandez, he had multiple opportunities. But in the 8th inning, that was really the one that was the killer and the most cruel, because you had Ohtani there at second, you had Smith at first, you had runners on the corners, and then Teoscar Hernandez, he put one in play and he gave it a ride. He drove the ball deep into center field in that cavernous outfield at PNC Park, and it ends up in the warning track. It was 107.2 miles per hour off the bat. It had an expected batting average of 940, and the Dodgers, they get nothing to show for it. So unfortunately, that's baseball. Sometimes baseball is going to baseball, but there's an example, though, of it's a one-run game. You have Shohei Ohtani at third. You have Will Smith at first. You don't need a 3-run home run there, right? I know I say you want this, if you want the dub, you got the slug, but that's when this offense is rolling, right? Not when this offense is as anemic as it's been of late. Sometimes when you just need a run here and a run there, let's worry about the slug after you got things going. I think in that situation right there, they would have been better served with just finding a way to generate some offense, tie the game, and then you're going to get some momentum. But let's go back to the comments, guys, because I know you're sounding off down below, looking for that comment of the show. We got Hug the Bottom of the Line. That's from Ella Shiva Jones. That's a comment of the show. Of course, talking about Dave Roberts and Johan Ramirez. The Yankees are going to crush you. Eddie Buzz. Move Freddie Freeman to the number 2 spot. Look, the good, I mean, if you want to point out the positives in this one, Freddie Freeman and Tyler Glass now will dive more into their performances tonight. They're the two guys that, I mean, are consistently performing well. I mean, Freddie Freeman, he ends up really stepping up once again. He gave the Dodgers an opportunity to really put some runs across by generating some offense. But outside of Freddie Freeman, this offense, I mean, he had a double from Gavin Lux. Freddie tonight, he goes 2 for 4, had those 2 strikeouts. One of those strikeouts was absolutely ridiculous. You had Stevie Wonder on the call tonight with those ones. I don't know if the umpire had a early dinner reservation, but that was ridiculous. That's a perfect example of when you would have the challenge. That's where you would want to use those challenge on one of those Freddie Freeman strikeouts, and we'll talk about that a little more in a second here. But the good news, Freddie Freeman is producing. Last 12 games, Freddie Freeman hitting .289, OPSing .921. Will Smith, the average down last 10 games is .250, but the OPS is up. The slug is up. OPSing .936, has 4 home runs and 2 doubles in his last 10 games. The concern I have, Shohei Ohtani, in his last 11 games, he's hitting .205. He's OPSing .596. In his last 11 games, 44 at-bats, he's 9 for his last 44 with a double, a triple, and a home run and 5 RBI. So he's hitting .205. Mookie Betts, last 12 games, hitting .229 with a .669 OPS. I mean, those are your top 2, right? That's the two-headed monster at the top of this lineup. That's the Kobe and Shaq, and they're not coming through as well. The problem with the Dodgers lineup is they don't have a championship mindset. They're soft and give up when things get tough. Jose Aguirre, this is why I don't care about the regular season anymore. No more stress for me like before. Just show me in October and things will be different. Look, no, you build those habits during the season. You think that this team with the bottom of the lineup that's towards the bottom in essentially every single offensive category is all of a sudden just going to show up because it's October? Why would that be the case? And if that's the case, that shows a lack of professionalism for the regular season, because at the end of the day, you want to create good habits. You want to be consistent. Look, I know people think that baseball is just, okay, you can sneak into the postseason and win it all. Look, hasn't been the case historically. The best teams usually win, not all the time in Major League Baseball, and it's less than the NFL and the NBA and other major sports, but still, you want to be a good team. You want to put together quality at-bats and be able to build those reps and come through in those situations, because ultimately you're going to be facing high velocity like we saw tonight from Jared Jones. You're going to be facing nasty stuff like what Tyler Glasnow was bringing against that Pirates offense as well. D-Mac's number one fan, Shohei, better start living up to his home run deal to Glasnow before he requests a trade back to the Rays. I don't think he's going to be doing that. I've talked to Tyler Glasnow multiple times, and he loves it here in Los Angeles. A great fit for him on the Dodgers. BC, every Taylor at bat is a slap in the face of any other batter since they're all better. And look, Chris Taylor, I'm not going to sit here and defend Chris Taylor and act like he deserves his spot or there's not better options out there. He went 0 for 4 and is hitting now 103 on the season. But like I said, baseball got to baseball a little bit tonight, because Chris Taylor definitely gave it a ride there to end the game against David Bednar in the 9th inning with the Dodgers trailing 1-0. On that at bat, it was 104.9 miles per hour off the bat, but still another fly out. Another example of people trying to play hero ball. Too much hero ball at the plate for this team. Look, if you want to be a slugger and get paid $200, $300, $400 million, it's rare. You're not going to be Shohei. You're not going to be Mookie. You're not going to be Freddie Freeman. You're not going to be Will Smith, right? You're not going to be any of those guys. Go out there and do your job. In the words of Bill Belichick, just finished watching The Dynasty on Apple TV. Great documentary series about the Patriots. And not even a fan of the Patriots. It's just watching it. But do your job. Go out there. Give this team opportunities to score runs. And Chris Taylor, I mean, he got the start tonight. It was the 5th time he started in the last 26 games. So it's not like he's hurt this team. It's just the 5th time his last 26 that he got the start. Did he make the most of it? No. Goes 0 for 4. But still, I don't think I'd pin this one on CT3. I mean, you just had multiple opportunities. I mean, the first 4 innings, you had opportunities to score. Top of the first, Ohtani struck out swing for the 2nd out, and then Freddie Freeman gets a 2-out single to right. Will Smith gets a 2-out double. Great pitch hitting on a 1-2 count, and that brought Teoscar Hernandez to the plate. And what does he do? First pitch swinging, he grounds to third. First pitch swing, he grounds to third. And that's a four-seam fastball, 100 miles per hour, right down Broadway with runners on second and third. And just the at-bat quality there was not good enough. You want to sit on some pitches. Make a young pitcher in Jared Jones work for it. They were not making him work for it enough. Then you jump to the top of the second. You get a leadoff runner on 4 pitches. You get a leadoff base runner in Jason Hayward. He gets on base, and then he steals second. And then Gavin Lux, he strikes out swing on a 4-seam fastball down the way. Miguel Rojas, another quick at-bat, a 1-0 count. He grounds to short. And then Chris Taylor on a 1-1 count. He ends up lining to center. So not taking enough pitches, being a little too antsy at the plate. Want to be a little more patient, want to wait for a pitch you can drive, get yourself in a hitter's count. The Dodgers simply were not doing that. Jump to the top of the 3rd inning. What do you get? You guessed it, another leadoff base runner. Mookie Betts, great at-bat, a 10-pitch at-bat. He draws a walk after a 4-seam fastball, up and in off the plate. And then Shohei Ohtani gets himself into a hitter's count, 2-1, and he grounds into a double play. So those are the situations that we've seen Shohei Ohtani slug and put together better at-bats. And it's unfortunate because you waste that opportunity. The very next hitter, Freddie Freeman, he ends up doubling to center. So if Shohei just doesn't ground into a double play, you're going to start cooking there with Freddie Freeman hitting that double. And then Will Smith was hit by a pitch. And then you have runners on first and second, and Teoscar Hernandez, he flies to left. Then bottom of the 3rd, with 1 out, 3-2 count to Sawinski. This guy, he's just add him to the long list of Dodgers killers, right? The Christian Walkers of the world. He is on that list now because he slugs against this team, and he hits a home run. Not the worst pitch, fastball up and in. That goes over the fence in right, 375 feet. That gave the Pirates a 1-0 lead, and that's all they needed. Unbelievably, it's all they needed. But guess what? Top of the 4th, another leadoff runner for the Dodgers. Jason Hayward walks again. Gavin Lux grounds out. Rojas grounds out. And then Taylor, he lines. This was a killer, too. You had a runner on 3rd because Hayward's able to advance to 3rd after the Lux ground out and the Rojas ground out. So you had a runner on 3rd, 2 outs, 3-2 count, and it was a weak line out to short by Chris Taylor. So he wasn't able to come through. And then later in the game, the Dodgers were able to manufacture some offense after a leadoff double from Gavin Lux, and then followed by a Rojas grounded pitcher. Taylor popped to second, Betts flied to right. So the offense wasn't good enough. Yes, some of the expected stats were against them, but still not a good night. If you have seen the Dodgers offense, if you have seen the Dodgers bats, please return them to 1000 Vince Scully Avenue, because they just haven't been consistent enough. And the reality is that this is not a championship bottom of your lineup at the moment. And my all-time favorite, CT, not putting in work lately. He's struggling, but still, I mean, they all were too. I mean, Rebecca, Michelle, Doug, I kind of feel like Dodgers go for the slug. They get no dubs. Hashtag small ball forever. Rebecca, fire take.
Dodger dog
No, wait.
of the game.
Fire take right there. And a comment of the show. Yeah, look. You got to be able to be more dynamic, and I agree. Jerry Hunter, Glasnow got more run support in Tampa Bay. And look, the start of the year, Glasnow was getting tons of run support, but 5 games in a row, you can't put a run across for Glass. Give him a glass of something, because he's probably not happy right now, man. I would go get my best bottle of something if I'm the Dodgers offense, and I'm going and giving Glass a shot of something now, because he probably needs it, because it cannot be fun pitching like that. Baby steps, major disappointment. No clue what's going on with the Dodgers. Glasnow did amazingly. BC, get contact hitters. Enough boomer buzz, high strikeout guys, BC. Yeah, and I'm for that too. I think you want to bring in a veteran type hitter, and I think you want to go big. I mean, there's some talk Luis Robert could be available. We know we've talked about Bo Bichette playing on this show. We talked about Taylor Ward on this show. Yes, there are going to be some options, and I do think that on the profile, you know that you got guys that can slug on this team, but sometimes it's just the inability to put the ball in play in key situations. Do things like get the runner to third when he's on second. You want to pull a ground ball to the right side. You want to hit a sac fly to right center. You want to do the little things that help you win, and you're not asking them to be heroes down there. You're not asking them to be $300 million players. You're asking them to play a role, and I think that is what this team is lacking at the moment. And look, Andy Pages, he had a really good week last week, hit over 500, but Pages, he was faced in a situation there in the 8th inning after Ohtani, he singled to center to kick things off. Freddie Freeman, he struck out on a ball that was clearly out of the zone. Just ridiculous. I'm telling you, these robo-umps, you can't get here soon enough. I'm so over complaining about umpires. If this was the NFL, they would have already had a challenge system like literally 20 years ago. Major League Baseball, you are so late. You're so late when it comes to doing things to enhance your game. And another great example, if there was a challenge system, that's the perfect example of one that you would challenge, because you would challenge that, and sure, Freddie might still get an out in that at bat. He might even ground to a double play, but you still don't want one of your best hitters getting the bat stolen, taken out of his hands right there on a pitch that was clearly low and should not have been called a strike. And then Will Smith walked on 4 pitches. That gave the Dodgers runners on first and second. Teo, he flied to center. Andy Pages pinch hit for Hayward, and it was a big spot for Andy Pages, and he goes up there. Good at bat, not the worst at bat in the world. Saw some pitches, but ultimately he swings and misses at a sinker that was out of the zone to end the threat. And the concerning pitch during that sequence was the 5th pitch of the at-bat. He fouls off 100 miles per hour right down Broadway. We need Andy Pages to just get on top. I know it sounds, hey, man, go ahead and hit a 100-mile-per-hour fastball. Make it seem like that's easy. No, it's not a layup. But in those key situations, we've seen the Dodgers get mowed down postseason after postseason at high velocity in key situations when it matters most. And I think that all the warning signs are out there. All the red flags are out there. Now it's just about Andrew Friedman going out there and looking at a player profile that, as you pointed out, it has a little more of a bat-to-ball mentality in certain situations, because, look, right now it's not long enough as a lineup. But other thing, too, I want to point out, this line, let's take some comments here and we'll get back into breaking this thing down. I'm not happy, guys. Look, there's too many shutouts. The offense has not played up to their abilities. They have not lived up to their billing. I think a big concern, and some people were questioning it a couple weeks ago when I said that Max Muncy is the glue to this offense. Max Muncy brings fuel to this Dodgers train when it comes to their offense, right? He is the igniter in the middle of the lineup that can change games with a big swing. And since Max Muncy has been out, the Dodgers, they're 9-8. They're averaging under 4 runs per game, and they're OPSing around 700. Okay? So the offense has absolutely trended downward since he's been out. They're just a game over 500 without Maximum Muncy. And it just goes to show that he's a veteran hitter, and he's a guy that has experience. He's someone that this team counts on to produce, and they don't have him, and they're playing over 500 baseball by 1 game. But this team, we got the Phillies look like the best team in baseball. Good news is they're just 5. I like that. Rosemary Glass now waiting on some runs. Yeah, he's going to be waiting for forever for those runs for sure. But yeah, you really want to get him, just put him in better spots, man. That's your ace right there. You need to take care of him. Throw a parade of CT3 gets 2 hits from Nando 390. Hero ball has been this team's MO the past few seasons. Dodgers need Luis Rengifo. That's from Matthew Ramirez. I think there's a lot of Angels that you look at that could help this team. You got Ward, you got Rengifo. It just makes you wonder. I think Mr. Artie Moreno would rather trade his grandma than trade one of his players to the Los Angeles Dodgers, just because you got to shake hands with the enemy in that situation. But if the Dodgers present the best deal, they owe it to themselves as a franchise to do what's best to bolster that farm system. Hi says, D-Mac, take out ridiculous games where this lineup blows out mediocre teams and the production does not look great. Rebecca Michelle, yes, too much hero ball. Please effing stop. Small ball greater than sign hero balls from Anthony. You have to keep the chains moving. Scotty A8. Yes, when this team has the pass the baton mentality, they are at their very best, and it just feels like the lineup stops at 6, 7. They have been doing really nice lately. They haven't been producing, but haven't been the whole season. But we got Ryan Kim offense sputtering may lead to a big trade at the deadline. Luis Robert, Ryan Kim. So yes, that's a flyer take. And I'm dropping a whole episode on a Luis Robert trade scenario. But sure, I mean, I think that the Dodgers brass, they have to realize at this point that, you know what, we might have to go bigger. And it could be the silver lining in all of this, that they were looking to assess what they had early on. And let's say the current group was overperforming, but you just know that, okay, am I going to really, I mean, look at James Outman. Really nice regular season last year, struggled in the postseason, had that misplay, even though it wasn't considered an error there in the first inning with Kershaw on the mound. I think that, look, sometimes you have to, there's a lot to be said about experience and investing in guys that have just a little more skin in the postseason game, per se, and give it to guys that can really produce in those situations. And I think that now the Dodgers are going to say to themselves, look, we have to go out there and we got to fix this, because how much prime of Mookie Betts do you have left? How much prime of Freddie Freeman do you have left? You want to take advantage of Shohei Ohtani, because I guarantee you this is the cloud that's going to hang over this Dodgers franchise until they win a World Series with Shohei Ohtani, right? They realize that this whole experiment, this whole run they're on, where they invested $1.2 billion with a capital B in the offseason, you spent all that money, that there's no in-between. There's no in-between. There's no, oh, they made it to the NLCS a couple years. They made it to the World Series a couple years. Yeah, I don't know. Were they a success? Were they a failure? No, there is no in-between. If they don't win a World Series in the next 10 years, this whole experience is going to be considered an abject failure. And those are the stakes. That's just the truth. You guys know, just trying to here to speak what I think is the truth, and that is the truth. There's no one out there that's going to do the Dodgers any favors. There's fans out there that want to see the Dodgers lose, and all this is to say that knowing that this whole era is going to be considered a failure if they don't win a championship, knowing all that, I think that this organization is saying to themselves, based on how the roster is currently constructed, let's get it done in year one. Let's do it in year one. That way, it's just a matter of, are we a dynasty or not? Are we one of the greatest teams that this sport has ever seen for a long period of time or not? Because if you win it in year one, a lot of Dodger fans like you, a lot of Dodger fans like me are going to say, you know what? Wait a minute. I got a championship in a 162-game season, and I had a parade where I'm out there partying with all my friends and family that are lifelong Dodgers fans. I don't ask for much. I just want one. So I think that they're going to have that mindset during this trade deadline, knowing that, you know what, even though Ohtani and Mookie and Freddie are locked up and Glasnow and Yoshinobu Yamamoto are locked up, let's win this year. There's no one out there that's too intimidating. Phillies are good. The Yankees are good. You make some tweaks to this team. The bullpen has been really, really solid to great during certain stretches. They have the horses when it comes to starting pitching. They're going to add another bullpen piece. I'm confident about that. But you add one more key piece, then I think that this team needs that. But I got lucky. I turned the TV on the 8th, so I missed a lot of the frustration. That's from Diane Schroeder. What is up, Diane Schroeder, the fairy godmother of the Dodgers Nation live stream? Appreciate you. As always, you get a comment of the show. Nick Shrunk, start Pages and Vargas. They're the future. I think that, look, the good thing about Miguel Vargas is hasn't gotten a ton of opportunities, but he has looked good when he's been at the plate. He's played in 5 games. He's had 13 at-bats. He's 4 for 13 with 2 doubles and a home run. So limited sample size, and you're going to need to see a lot more. But still, yeah, I do like his hit tool better. I do like his athleticism more. I think he has a better chance to produce at the plate than a Chris Taylor at the moment, right? And Andy Pages, the good thing about Pages was in a dark slump. Just the walk rate was under 3% at one point. But the good news is last 5 games for Andy Pages, 7 for 14, hitting 5 home runs. Hitting 500 and no extra base hits, but you're seeing him tweak that a little bit. I think you're seeing less of a let's go try to slug our way to a spot on this team. You're seeing just better at bats. But I look forward to the robo-ums. That's from Eddie Buzz. Roy Estrada, ESPN shows Glasnow pitching Sunday against the Yankees. Is that a fact or misinformation? I thought that was going to be the case, but I didn't see that was confirmed. Let me go check over on the X if that is the case. It does sound like it's possible. I'm not saying it's not, and I think it's hey, I think the Dodgers need that series against the Yankees, quite frankly. I truly do. I think you absolutely need a big matchup, and you absolutely shouldn't, but I still think that this team has a lot of pride, and I think that the stars hopefully are going to show up during that series and not get dominated, because we saw back in 2019, that Yankees team, they came in there and they beat the Dodgers pretty badly. And look, you're just seeing, the Dodgers haven't scored over 5 runs in a game on back-to-back games since mid-May. Okay, that's unacceptable with a lineup that has this much talent. And I think you really have to start to question whether or not Shohei Ohtani is at 100% health-wise. He does go through his slumps at times. It's not like he's going to hit 300 and slug 700 the entire season. That's not realistic. That's not sustainable. But it just looks like the lower body, the upper body, it's a little out of sync right now. And the slug's down, the exit velo, the hard contact isn't where it's been. You wonder if they should just shut him down for a couple of games to get him fully healthy. Because right now, like I said, he's hitting 205 last couple of weeks. 205 for Shohei Ohtani with a triple, a double, and a home run. So based on the month that he had in May, where he just broke out in a big way, he just hasn't looked the same. But I'm trying to find out here if we got any updates on the matchup against the New York Yankees. By the way, Shohei's going to feel a lot better because Major League Baseball completely cleared him. So that definitely is a plus. But it's just 4 shutouts this year for the Dodgers. I mean, 4 shutouts this year for LA, and that's unacceptable. I mean, you look at how many games they're in right now. You have 4 shutouts for the Dodgers with an offense that has Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, Will Smith, right? 4 shutouts, and tonight a team that goes over 12 with runners in scoring position. You got 4 shutouts in their first 62 games. 4 shutouts in their first 62 games. Last year, they were shut out 4 times all season in 162 games. And that was with a team that didn't have these type of expectations. So definitely think that this is a time to look in the mirror if you are this Dodgers offense. But let's do a couple more takes. And let's go all takes. Here we go. Go get Mike Trout. That Rain Minato 77. Relying on home runs is why they can't score. Waves Bland 26. I do think they're a little too boomer bust, too home run reliant. We got is the sky falling yet from Denny Cortez. Robert is injury prone. Yeah, no, I know. Remember when he hurt his pectoral muscle? That was definitely one of the more interesting injuries that I've seen in recent years, and unfortunately, yeah, he's hurt his hip. He's definitely dealt with some issues, unfortunately. And Luis Robert, though, is extremely talented. He's under a favorable contract, so yeah, we're going to dive into that one, because if you could have had a player of his caliber, I mean, if it takes 2 top 10 prospects, pick 2. Just, I don't even care at that point. I mean, seriously. Don Kim. Hi, D-Mac. What up, Don Kim? Always rocking with us. Appreciate you, my guy. I'm going to give you a fire take. We got, who's the Dodger dog of the game, though? I mean, who is the Dodger dog? Because I'm going with Tyler Glasnow.
Dodger dog of the game.
He went out there and he did his thing. Tyler Glasnow still is proving that he is a true ace of this team. He's still proving that he was worth the trade. He became just the 6th Dodgers pitcher to reach 100 punch-outs in his first 13 games of the season. So, yeah, I mean, you had Bauer, you had Kirsch, lots of Kirsch. Hideo Nomo did it, Sandy Koufax, Ramon Martinez, Sandy Koufax. So definitely a list of great legendary pitchers on that list, and Tyler Glasnow, he joins that. Next 10 years by the year at least. Nando 390, probably thinking of Roberts as a nice guy, but don't respect him. Jason B. Jim Abbott hits better than this team. Really, they need multiple championships, BC. Sure, if you want to consider a dynasty, I'm fine with that. We can have that conversation, but you got to start with one. We got CT3 start over Kike, Vargas, and Pajes. Stupidity. That's from Nick Shrunk. Yeah, I mean, I would love to see Vargas in there getting more opportunities, because I think you need to start the assessment process with him. What's the clock like on Miguel Vargas? And you got Jason Hayward back in the fold. He can play center as well. So I don't think there's a reason for Chris Taylor to take at bats from Miguel Vargas. I know they're trying to get him going, but he has opportunities. But fire Van Scoyac, enough of this guy. That's from Moose. D-Mac keeps using the Muncy excuse. It's not an excuse. I'm not saying it Muncy. Look, one guy doesn't make a baseball team. If that was the case, then Mike Trout would have multiple World Series, right? But when the bottom of your lineup is struggling at this level, losing Max Muncy, definitely you feel that, especially with Mookie and Shohei Ohtani currently struggling for the last couple of weeks. And you need guys to step up, and Muncy is a guy they rely upon. But, hey, the records don't lie. I mean, they're 9-8 without Max Muncy. I'm not saying it's everything, but it's definitely not nothing. We got to, people make too much about age. It's about taking care of yourself and recovery. Athletes' primes are longer now than ever. There's plenty of prime left for Mookie and Freddie. Sure, there is, but do you want to chance it? I mean, look what happened to Ronald Acuna Jr. I mean, he's as prime as you could get, right? You need to take advantage of these guys while they're performing in the way that they are. And that's just the truth of the matter. You want to take advantage of Tyler Glasnow. You want to take advantage of Yoshinobu Yamamoto, right? I mean, you want to take advantage of last year, potentially of Walker Buehler, right? So Roberts needs to be fired. He doesn't know how to motivate players. This is from Sunnit Dixon. They will end up 2nd or 3rd in the National League West. Sunnit, bad game. Tough loss. 4th time they've been shut out this year. They are not going to lose the division, okay? They're going to win the National League West. You can screenshot this. You can screen record this. You can take a picture. I don't care what you do. The Dodgers are going to win the National League West, even through this little slump they've been on last couple of weeks. I mean, last week they took 5 out of 6. Week before that, 1 out of 5, but still 6.5 games up of the San Diego Dads. I'm a lifetime Dodgers fan. This is the last year. Let's go down here. We got Dodgers 5 runs against the Mets, and extra doesn't count. They scored 2 in 9 innings. Neil Kazumoto, Dodgers played down to their competition. That's on Roberts. Yeah, maybe Ohtani has injury issues. That's from Rebecca. We got a 199 super chat. You know, I appreciate that. Are the Dodgers fatigued from traveling too much? I'm sure there's something to that, but that's not an excuse. All of these guys are flying in elite, chartered, best that money can buy for what it is type of planes. You're staying in the best hotels. I can't use that as an excuse. I'm sorry. These guys got to be ready to play. Richard Flores, my guy, the bottom of the order is a black hole. It's time to DFA Kike and package CT3 at the deadline. Can't take this much longer. So Chris Taylor is still owed just under $30 million. There's no team out there that's going to take on Chris Taylor's salary. If the Dodgers maybe paid down 80-90% of it, maybe there's a possibility, but really the Chris Taylor path is pretty simple. It is you DFA him, he clears waivers, and probably signs with another team where maybe he thinks he has a better opportunity to play every single day to get himself back on track. I mean, makes you wonder if he would really come back to the Dodgers there. Most likely, I don't see that as a pathway. I think the other one is when Max Muncy gets healthy, if they want to stick with Andy Pages and Miguel Vargas, or bring up a James Albin, who has been really, really good in his return in AAA. He's out there raking, which, yeah, we see a lot of these guys go down there and rake, and they come back up, and they're not a new hitter or anything like that. But you find a way to get Chris Taylor off the active roster. You throw him on a 60-day. You throw him on the IL. Do whatever you have to do. And then what you can do is you have him rehab in Arizona at the complex. Find a way to get that swing just at a better position to make contact more consistently, to be back to that semi-dangerous hitter that could hit 15 to 20 home runs in a given season. And then you can have him on a rehab assignment where he's playing at the minor league level and he's facing competition where he can get his confidence back, where he can find something to build on. But other than that, you can't send him down. You can't option him or anything like that. We saw Max Muncy a couple years ago. They took that route where he got some at-bats at AAA, and he ended up being better because of it. So that's really the route for him. But I don't see him as a trade package type of guy, and I don't think teams view him as one either. But Mookie's exhausted, prepping for shortstop. It's clear as day that this spilled over in his hitting. Kenny Chung, have I remained consistent? The day it was announced, everyone, oh, this is a great story, great narrative. Mookie Betts, shortstop. I love the idea. There's nothing Mookie can do. Super Betts, this and that. I never did. I never loved the idea. Still don't love the idea. I asked Andrew Friedman about it, and it's nothing against Mookie, because Mookie's fantastic. He's still a top 5 player in Major League Baseball. I just don't think this is a fair thing for him. Even if he thinks he can, you have to save him from himself, because Mookie doesn't matter. You can tell Mookie that there is, to save a child on the top building of something, he'll go and climb up there and get her, right? And there's nothing Mookie will ever not want to pursue, right? He's always going to think he can do this, because that's why he's Mookie Betts. That's why he's going to the Hall of Fame, because he has that mindset. But a couple more here, and then we will enjoy the rest of the evening and hopefully get back on track tomorrow. Ohtani regretting his decision. I definitely don't think that's the case, Adam818, because let's not forget, he's still in first place. The Dodgers still just 5 games back of the Philadelphia Phillies. And let's not act like they're a basement dweller like the Angels, who have been irrelevant for a very long time, where he was the Bugatti at the trailer park home. Okay, so Ohtani is going to be just fine. Diane Schroeder says too much swinging for the fences. Nick Schrunk put Mookie back in right field and Rojas at shortstop. Rack you right there. I've been saying that for months. Why doesn't Roberts at least change the lineup? We got it's pretty simple. I mean, you're kind of just shuffling things down the order, and what he has continued to say is, okay, give guys opportunities, but still, you're not changing 1 through 3. You're not going to change the cleanup spot. Will Smith has continued to thrive, really, and then Max Muncy and Teoscar Hernandez, they're going to be the middle of your lineup. It's 7, 8, 9. Between Hayward did a really nice job tonight, drawing walks and getting on base and stealing bases. I want to see more from Jason Hayward to see what I can get from him, and then Chris Taylor was definitely the black hole. There's no doubt about that. There's no way that you can deny that. 0 for 4 tonight. Gave one a ride, but still, it's not enough. Fire Roberts and hire D-Mac. That's some Roach Killer 420. That's what I'm talking about. You win. But don't fire Dave. We'll just be co-managers. Co-managers. How about that? Co-managers, right? Co-managers, that's fine. That's all. Screw that. Give me the bat. I'll do this thing myself, man. I'll put the ball in play. Get some good contact. My blind grandma can hit better than Chris Taylor. That's from Nando. That's a bro. Haven't had a bro in a while. Why is Miguel Vargas on the roster if he's not playing? What a waste. That is from Los Doyers. I definitely want to see more Miguel Vargas. Trust me, I'm in that camp. What's up, Matty Man 5 Dodge? Appreciate you as always. Los Doyers says shake up the lineup. David Sabatini says if I'm flipping tables in the clubhouse, if I'm Glass now. Tyler Glass now, he's going to be fine. He's even keel. He went out there, and I mean, honestly, the thing about Tyler Glasnow, which is so impressive, is there was no margin for error. There was no margin for error. He had to go out there and execute, and even in that sixth inning, I was so impressed. Brian Reynolds, he reached on that infield single. He steals second, so he's at second with no outs. You got Connor Joe at the plate. And Glasnow, he buckles down. He strikes him out with a slider down away. He comes back. You got O'Neal Cruz at the plate. He gets him swing at a curveball down the zone. Reynolds, he gets to third on that wild pitch by Glasnow. Then Glasnow, just little command issues during that at-bat to Hayes. He ends up walking, giving the Pirates runners on first and third. Then Hayes steals second, setting up Gonzalez with an opportunity with runners at second and third. And what does Glasnow do? Shuts him down. Four-seam fastball, perfectly located on the outside corner to get Gonzalez to end the threat. So I give Glasnow an 8 tonight. He's been really, really as advertised, if not better, in my opinion. But yeah, guys, we can go on forever on this show because you guys talking Dodger baseball. Craig Osterberg Roberts is loyal to Taylor and Lux. I think the Lux is more of I think Taylor, you can make the case. There's loyalty there. But I think Lux, it's more of the organization is for sure. They want to see what they have in him, no doubt about it. Hallie butt kicker, D-Mac, good evening, sir. We got Marlins DFA and Avisail Garcia. We can't do the same with Taylor. Hey, man, there's a lot of it's interesting because you can't just stash guys on the IL like you did after what happened to Epler with the Mets. It's a very big, risky situation. Dodgers will be no-hit 16K tomorrow. That's from R. Dutch Tao over on YouTube. I hope that's not the case. Hope that isn't the case, but it's going to be exciting for sure. My grandma can hit better than the CT3. She's got no... This is from Nano 390. My grandma can hit better than CT3, and she's got no legs, arms, and is blind. Wow. She must got some pretty strong shoulders right there. Just boom, like that, you know. But I'll give you the bruh right here. But, hey, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of Dodgers Nation post game. We have a super chat right here I want to get to from MM Forever. 199 if Roberts finally gets fired this season is a W in my opinion. I don't think, barring a regular season collapse where they don't make the postseason with a full healthy roster, that would certainly do it. Or a situation where you could point to one of his moves, managerial miscues in, let's say, the division series where they get bounced early. Maybe, just maybe you do it then. But outside of those two scenarios, I think he keeps his job. NLCS appearance, World Series appearance, World Series win. He should be fine in year one. But with this group, because, I mean, you're talking about a guy who's a World Series away from making the Hall of Fame. Shane Rochester, Dodger Dog of the Day. D-Max, y'all those Dodger Dogs on Sunday? He's loving that. Send Taylor down, bring Sweeney up. D-Mac, hey, talked about Sweeney the other day. Definitely lots of talent, but I want to see him do it outside of Albuquerque before I make that decision. But that's going to do it, guys. Thanks again for rocking with us here on the Dodgers Nation post-game show. My name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. If you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe to the Dodgers Nation YouTube channel, the #1 Dodgers YouTube channel in the game. All you got to do to win a Shohei Ohtani authentic road grade jersey is subscribe to the channel, smash that notification bell, hit that like button, and comment "Go Tani" down below. Remember, nothing brings us together quite like Dodger baseball. And until next time, think blue.